Good day. How's everybody doing out there? I wanted to take a couple minutes and talk about the last video or the last Nightwish video that we did with the poet and the pendulum. Now, there is a lot of layers going on, and now learning more, um, about the circumstances um, that were going on at the time or before writing this or leading up to writing this. Um, there's a few things that I've definitely noticed. Now, anybody wondering what I'm talking about, I'm just learning what I'm talking about. So, but basically, the prior singer Tarja is, I hope that's how, um she was like the face of Nightwish, and apparently I I don't know if this translates, but got a little bit too big for her britches, little diva-ish, little and I guess some other people uh involving her, I'm just trying to be careful with how I say all this, just weren't staying in their lanes, and it caused a lot of issues. So they decided to part ways. Now, I'm assuming with the abruptness and how everything kind of happened, that something had to have snapped or broke, that finally it was, like they say, the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, reading through these lyrics, and knowing what I know about what the fan base, how they reacted to all this, um, which you can imagine was kind of cynical, painting um, Thomas or Tomas as the bad guy in the situation. Again, having an outside view and not knowing the circumstances, it's understandable why people would react the way they react. And that's why it's always important with all type of news things or whatever to wait a little bit before the rest of the, in our societies today, because of the way that we are fed information, we have this knee jerk reaction to everything, and we want to, uh, immediately judge. And, you know, some people grow out of that, and some societies will say, or groups of people maybe grow out of it, but some people never, are able. And, there's those types of people, and you can imagine if you put them in numbers that are just quick to snap to judgment. Now, these are all normal things, though. I mean, this isn't like, people were going out of their way to hate a person. Some people, maybe. There's always bandwagoners and all that. But now, reading into the lyrics, I I think I have some things that I, could add that probably has already been, touched on. But I find the many layers of this song very intriguing in the way that he picked a poem that is layered in nature, and the way that this song is built in acts, much like a poet would write a play in acts. And it makes so much sense with the way that Nightwish is continually telling stories with every song and taking you on journeys and putting you in emotional places and physical places, and mental states. Yeah, I could go on. But there's a lot of crafty things going on here, lyrically, poetically, and for people that care to read into it, there's some things I read in this that I feel are very things that I think people in positions of stardom or people in positions of fame or whatnot can struggle with. Having a face for God and a face for the whole world, is a way of saying, I have this alter ego. I have there's the me that everybody sees in this superhuman state, and then there's me, the guy that lives up the road that likes to go on nature hikes and enjoys bird watching and playing music and hanging out with my friends. You get what I'm saying? This is and then when that alter ego is demonized, it can be hard for you now to be like, okay, they're mad at a situation that they aren't fully aware of, and they're also mad at a person they're not fully aware of. And I can understand how, going through these lyrics and all the little quips, and then, for me, like especially when you get to, the Pacific, it starts to really present. You start to pick up on that it's presenting like the pit and the pendulum in a way, counting down the moments and all these things, shedding, and at the end of it, it's basically, shedding the old for a new beginning. Yes, this person you were pissed at, and this, person that you demonized, all that, yep, gone. No more. I'm willing to forget about it just as fast as everybody will, will. And I think also coming to terms with having to realize that hold on a minute, this will, not only will this pass, but people will come to realize that I'm not a bad guy. I didn't do anything wrong. I actually did the right thing. But see, we all connect with music, and we all have connections with certain bands. And when somebody within the band or something changes, and then we find out that it was somebody that was in the band that made that change, and we get bits and pieces of the story, we tend to demonize that person. You're the bad guy that took the thing that I love out of this band. Now this band is not going to be the same because of you. When, like it or not, they're actually doing what is best for the band. Now I know us other steps were in between where we are now and when this happened. But just think though, if that decision never would have been made, if everything just would have went on the way that everybody would have wanted it to, or everybody thought that they wanted it to, I dare say Nightwish probably wouldn't even be a band now, because those things fester and people will not tolerate those things. They only tolerate it for so long. And we've seen this time and time again in bands, that all it takes is one bad apple and it's done. It's a festering sore that just consumes everything around it until there's nothing but a festering sore. And I think having the forethought and the, well, for lack of the balls to be like, well, there needs to be a change here. I can't do this. I love this more than I love you and your character. And doing what's best for the thing that you love and then getting demonized for it. Can you imagine that type of feeling must have been just an all-consuming thing? And it isn't a wonder that, you know, he fell into a depression. And, you know, but we're lucky that he leaned into music. He had family, he had friends. He was able to, he was lucky enough to still have parents and, you know, all that to lean into. And we're lucky because how many great musicians and artists have we lost because of silly things that were allowed to fester and then turn the thing that was trying to do the best for something into the demon, and that thing having to live with that. It's an incredible song, but it's also an incredible lesson, and I find it very very impressive on many levels. And knowing now what I know about what, you know, the circumstances, and even the little things about, you know, some people have mentioned about when they play this live, and I totally you know, it would be hard for a person like that to not in turn vilify your very fan base that turned on you when you were, you know, trying to save a band and trying to save your craft and trying to save the thing that everybody loved. That's another thing that, and that's what I also read in here. You know, the way you vilified me, I too could vilify you, and I have to remind myself to not do that, and to keep loving the thing that I love, and not turn this into something that I'm going to loathe and hate, and doing everything in my power to make sure that it remains that. And, you know, hindsight's always 2020. We can always see a whole lot clearer looking back. And if the decisions that were made then were never made, and even if we still had an iteration of NIGHTWISH, imagine the NIGHTWISH without Floor. I myself can't imagine that because I was introduced to NIGHTWISH with Floor being the singer. I'm glad that all the things leading up until my introduction to the band, good and bad, happened. Because this NIGHTWISH that I know, that I've been introduced to, is life altering and has changed my outlook in a few things, has changed my attitude in areas, has, really, I've once again found music that I could turn to and that I'm not just totally all knowledgeable about. I can be in awe of this thing and disappear with it. And those things are so important, and especially nowadays. We all need those things that don't hurt us, that we can lean into. And as far as I know, nobody has died from being addicted to music or being addicted to a band. They might have suffered some hearing loss. I'll give you that. But I think I'm pretty safe in stating that as a fact. That we haven't lost any humans from being addicted to good music and leaning into it and using that as a healer. And I understand why so many people love this band. I get it. It's just pick a song blindly, sit back, and I get it. Yep. Totally get it. Yep. Honey, my life has just been changed. You gotta come hear this. Bring some tissues. I mean, really, this having, that music that, will at one moment have you, and then the next minute have your bottom lip quivering and, a tear coming to your eye, because it's just so beautiful and so touching and so, and this song is a lesson in just wonderful songwriting, and not only with it being so personal, it's at the same time so relatable and written in a way that it's for everyone. And but I do realize that, knowing the backstory to this and everything, how this song is, it's really a kind of a letter of sorts from him to the fan base or to the world. But as it says in the end of the song, the beginning, and this beginning has turned out to be something. And I'm totally glad I looked into this song. I didn't realize, a lot of people had told me in the comments, you got to check this song out. You got to, and if you don't know, like The Pit and the Pendulum, maybe get caught up with that. So, and I'm very familiar with Poe. So, I kind of thought I knew what I was getting into, but I didn't realize how deep and how multi-layered this was going to be. And then how it takes so many, keys from, the poem and poetry and its layout and its presentation. It's genius. It's just, and it's another one of them songs, man. And it just, I've listened to this song, since I don't know, I lost count since first listening to it, and it's one of them things that every time you're gonna hear something new, or something else is gonna click in your head, and you're gonna be like, you got to appreciate that about music. But anyway, this was, I guess, the first of many discussions of this band and songs, breaking down some of these songs. I mean, I'm not gonna, break down lyrically, but my impression of the song, what people have talked about in comments and stuff, stuff people have pointed out, and just the little things, the little nuances that make songs, not just these songs, but songs in general, so incredible. The things that people pick up on, that sometimes aren't evident to everybody, and getting to experience this song through the many layers at like one time, not only, I have to admit, a little overwhelming, but very worth it. And it's just it's a great example of their brilliant and genius writing. And I'm glad we took this little journey, because this is some excellent stuff. I could only hope to aspire to write things to this caliber. This is just, beautiful stuff. And it's beautiful stuff that can be, read on its own without music at all. Just great writing all around. And never mind that, just music's phenomenal. But anyway, hope everybody out there is having a great day. So hope it's going as good as it possibly can be. Let me know what you think. Anything you'd like to add, definitely. And any suggestions on other songs you'd like to talk about, and we dissect and get into. I'd love to talk about this band as a great lesson in songwriting and just storytelling and music writing, and we can go on. And pyrotechnics, damn it. They're very good at pyrotechnics. Oh, what ain't they good at? Jesus. All right. Have a great day, everybody. I'll catch you in the next one.